Welcome to the Deep Dive. Okay, so forget those standard biographies you might have skimmed. Today, we're really getting into the essence of Amelia Earhart.
Yeah, our sources, they don't just focus on the mystery, do they? They see her story more as like a blueprint, a guide for defiance almost, how you chase something huge.
Exactly. Something so big, it actually changes what people think is even possible.
Yeah.
So, our mission today, pull out those key, inspiring moments, the stuff that really defines the spirit who, taught this guy to dream.
And you really can't talk about Amelia Earhart without starting, I think, with the end, the emotional peak of her journey. Because that moment, July 2nd, 1937, that's what really sealed her legend.
Right, she was so close to finishing this incredibly ambitious flight, circumnavigating the globe, but along the equator, the longest route.
The ultimate challenge. And yeah, the shock hook is right there, that final attempt.
She wasn't aiming for, like, a whole continent.
Right.
She needed to hit this tiny little island in the middle of the Pacific.
Howland Island. Barely a mile long. I mean, can you imagine the pressure?
And then, those final radio messages. Fragmented, strained. You could almost hear the desperation, can't you? Skipping across the waves.
The radio operator on the Coast Guard cutter, the Itasca, he heard her, clearly. But the signal was confusing, the direction wasn't clear. And then, nothing. After those last words, we were on the line, 157337. We will repeat this message, we will repeat this.
And that's it. End of the log. Just silence, radio darkness, the most famous woman in the world, vanished.
That silence, it created the mystery, obviously, but the sources we're looking at today, they frame it in a really interesting way. They ask, what happens to a dreamer when the dream itself finally consumes them?
It's a powerful question, because she became so much more than just a pilot. She turned into this symbol, right?
That symbol of daring to chase the impossible, timeless.
Yeah, and to really get that defiance, you have to understand the world she was pushing against.
Absolutely. Born in 1897, society back then, one source calls it invisible fences around women.
Right. Adventure, those men's territory. Women's dreams, supposed to be small, domestic, fit inside the kitchen walls.
And it wasn't just society holding her back. Her own childhood, it was, well, pretty unstable.
Yeah, financial problems, moving around a lot. She didn't exactly come from wealth or connections that could just, buy her a plane.
Not at all. She had to work for it. Multiple jobs. She was a nurse, a photographer, even a social worker.
Oh, just to fund this ambition, this dream of flying.
Every single dollar earned, every shift worked. It was, as one source put it, determination as her currency.
Wow, that's a great phrase. Stacking pennies to buy flight time, which must have been incredibly expensive back then.
Oh, hugely. And then came the moment, the spark. 1920, a county fair.
She took a 10-minute flight. Cost her $10 a fortune for it then.
And she said later, right, the moment I left the ground, I knew I had to fly.
It was like this instant recognition, like the sky itself had called her by name. Just clicked.
But that calling immediately ran into a wall of skepticism. Aviation was such a man's world.
Oh, totally. Imagine it. Male pilots mocking her. Instructors doubting she could even handle the plane. Sponsors just ignoring her.
She really had to fight just to get into the cockpit, let alone be taken seriously.
And she paid for lessons using money she earned working where? A telephone company, wasn't it?
Yeah. And used that money eventually to buy her first plane.
The famous one. The bright yellow Kinner Airster.
The Canary.
What a name.
It's so symbolic, isn't it, that plane? It's like she was testing the limits. How much freedom could a woman actually handle in that coal mine of tradition, as the source says?
She wasn't just buying an airplane, she was buying a statement, a declaration.
And she even flew it, initially, without a proper license while she was still learning, which caused some trouble too. Talk about pushing boundaries.
So determination was her currency, and she quickly learned to spend it wisely. Which brings us to her first big moment on the world stage.
1928. The first Atlantic crossing. But it wasn't her flight, not really.
Right, she was invited along. First woman to make the crossing, yes, but as a passenger, taking notes.
Two men were piloting the plane, and when they landed, the reporters, they just swarmed her, hailed her as this hero.
And her response was just perfect. It set the stage for everything that followed.
She said, I was just baggage like a sack of potatoes.
Incredible. That humility, or maybe that frustration.
Yeah.
That's what drove her, wasn't it?
Absolutely. She wasn't going to be baggage again, so what does she do? She immediately went out looking for her own sponsor. She needed control.
And 4 years later, 1932, she did it.
Flew solo across the Atlantic. First woman to do it, second person ever after Lindbergh.
And she wasn't just copying him. She was proving that a woman could handle that ultimate test alone.
And it was a brutal flight, wasn't it? Not some smooth ride.
No way. Took off from Newfoundland, aiming for Paris, but problems started almost immediately.
Right. Extreme weather, icy winds, building up ice on the wings, throwing the plane off balance. Terrifying.
And then part of the engine, the manifold, it actually caught fire.
Can you imagine? Fire in the cockpit over the Atlantic. She had to dive sharply to try and put it out with the cold air.
Which forced her way off course. 14 hours of just battling the elements, mechanical failures, exhaustion, isolation.
It's amazing she made it across at all. She ended up landing in a farmer's field in Northern Ireland.
And the farmer apparently wanders over and asks, "Have you come far?"
Classic. But that landing, that achievement, it changed everything.
Yeah, the sources say, for a moment, the sky didn't belong to men or women. It belonged to dreamers.
She became instantly famous. Lady Lindy, they called her. Global icon.
But here's the thing. She didn't just, enjoy the fame. She used it.
Used it as a tool, almost a weapon, as one source puts it. Advocating for women.
Fighting for equal pay, pushing girls to think beyond traditional careers. She didn't just fly, she led.
Yeah, she became an organizer. She helped found the 99s, that organization for women pilots. Still going strong today.
It wasn't passive fame. It was active. She had that great line, "The woman who can create her own job is the woman who will win."
Such a powerful message. Still resonates, doesn't it, for anyone trying to forge their own path?
Totally. But even with all that success, all that advocacy, there was still criticism.
Yeah, constantly. A shadow of doubt followed her. Some called her reckless.
Accused her of just chasing headlines, taking dangerous shortcuts maybe?
Yeah, those whispers were always there. Which leads us to think about why she took such incredible risks.
It wasn't about being safe, clearly. She was chasing something else.
Significance. That's the word the sources use. She truly believed, it seems, that every great breakthrough sits on the edge of risk.
It was a deliberate choice. A philosophy against playing it small.
And she asked that question, the one that kind of challenges everything. What's the meaning of life if you never test its boundaries?
That hits hard, even now.
And that belief, that questioning, it led her straight to the final ultimate challenge in 1937.
Circumnavigating the globe, along the equator, nearly 29,000 miles.
And by this point, it wasn't just for her own records, it felt bigger. She said she was flying for every little girl who had been told, "You can't."
Let's talk about the risk, though, the technical side of that final flight. She wasn't solo this time.
No, she had Fred Noonan, a very experienced navigator. They were in the Lockheed Electra 10E, a modern plane for its time.
But what made that last leg across the Pacific so incredibly dangerous?
Well, it was navigation, pure and simple. No GPS back then, obviously.
Right, they used celestial navigation. Sun, moon, stars, complex calculations done by hand in a vibrating plane, probably through clouds.
And they were aiming for Howland Island. Tiny, like finding a needle in a haystack, but the haystack is the entire Pacific Ocean.
A postage stamp from across a ballroom, as one description put it.
Exactly, and their radio communication gear, it was known to be unreliable.
So they fly thousands of miles, make it to New Guinea, ready for the final, biggest jump, over 2,500 miles of empty ocean.
Just aiming for that pinpoint. They knew the risks. Noonan was brilliant, but it was pushing the absolute limits of technology and human skill.
And when they lost radio contact with the Itasca.
They were lost. Utterly lost in the vastness.
Which brings us back to where we started. The silence. The disappearance.
Despite the massive search effort, the biggest in U.S. history at the time, nothing. She vanished into legend.
And the mystery lives on. Did they crash? Were they captured? Did they somehow survive under different names?
So many theories, yeah. But what our sources really emphasize is maybe the exact answer doesn't matter as much as the legacy she left behind.
That's a powerful takeaway. It means she didn't fail. Not really.
She transcended the limits of her time, her gender, maybe even the limits of ordinary life.
Her whole life becomes this lesson, doesn't it? That courage isn't about not being afraid.
It's about acting despite the fear. Making that choice. Her destiny wasn't just written somewhere.
It was carved in the clouds, as the source says. Beautifully put.
And that focus, that idea of faith in the effort over worrying too much about the outcome, that's the real lesson for you, listening right now.
Yeah, think about it. How many dreams have you maybe grounded? Not because you couldn't technically do it, but because the world, or maybe just your own doubts, told you it was unrealistic.
Amelia Earhart's story pushes back against that. Stop waiting for permission. Just start. Have faith in the doing.
The outcome is always uncertain, isn't it? But the act of taking off, of committing, like she did funding the Canary or flying the Electra, that's where the real victory is sometimes.
Exactly. The most tragic thing isn't crashing. It's never even getting off the ground.
That horizon she was always chasing. It wasn't really meant to be reached, was it?
No, it was meant to pull us forward, to keep us striving.
A sky wasn't the limit for Amelia Earhart.
And if you tap into that same spirit, it isn't the limit for you either.